Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. I'm Charlie, and this is Charlie Tries to Teach. Today's episode is about connection and community. What you need and what you don't. Now, I'm of the firm belief that this video will touch on a topic that will apply to everybody. That guy in the corner? Yeah, you, pal. Here's the big idea. Uh, the overarching concept here is we are designed by God for both personal connections and belonging within a community. And now I have these tiny little definitions here. We're gonna expand on it, but let's get you started. You're not ready for my other slides yet. Oh, okay. We're getting there. Connection is a deep personal relationship that you have with an individual. This is 1v1, not like battling, but like this involves two individuals, one line, one branch, and you see my emoji over here. You guys are linked. You guys are locked in. You guys are like this for real. And then community is a more widespread connection with a group. It often, but not always, has an associated space, like an area. And this is a more general, but a little bit shallower connection that you have with lots of people. This space should give a sense of belonging and safety. And then the common examples here are your family slash household, your church, your school, and maybe your place of work. And then we're going to further get you into this mindset with this verse from Ecclesiastes 4, verses 9 through 10. What we got here is, two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either one of the two, both connection and community, which is why it's on the slide that has both of them on the screen, that when you are pursuing a goal completely by yourself, when you reach a obstacle or a shortcoming, or you just have some resistance, it becomes very easy to think, oh, that's it. I guess I can't do this. But when you have connection and you have community, there will be people that will tell you you're wrong, which you often are, and say, maybe you can still obtain this goal, and they'll pick you up, sometimes physically, sometimes spiritually, with your morale. Moving on. Both matter. These are both important concepts. If you paid close attention, I said both personal connections and belonging within a community. Connection without community means you have a few deep relationships, but you don't have a sense of belonging. You don't really have a space you can return to, like your home. And you have support from individuals, but you might not have a clear shared identity or purpose. Some people who are I consider very close friends, we're not interested in the same things, and so we're not going to pursue similar goals, and that is okay. That is not required for a deep connection to be made. But in a community, you want a shared ideology or purpose. We're going to go further into that when we go deeper into our explanations. But then take a look at my picture here on the top right. You see a guy dressed to the nines, I will admit, but look at him, he's lost. And that's what you're going to be. You're going to be lost because you won't have a space you can return to, a place where you can breathe, truly be yourself, and these are incredibly important just to shed off the stress that comes with living as a human being in 2025. Every day there's going to be 100 tiny things that are going to try to get to you, but you've got this sense of peace about you because you know that there is a moment or a time during your day where you are accepted and you can put your guard down. You can be safe and you're surrounded by people that you trust. Moving on. Community without connection, we have the opposite issue here, is you feel a sense of belonging in groups, but you only have surface level relationships with others. And now maybe you'll still attend lots of events, like church events in your youth group, or maybe you'll go to after work events with your coworkers. and you participate in these shared activities, and you are surrounded by people, but you have a sense of loneliness despite this. And that's why you have this picture here of this guy surrounded by others. He's surrounded by a community, but he still feels separate from all of them. Now, while you will have a shared identity or purpose in this group, you will not have the depth that you get with connection. To truly have a deep relationship with another individual is extremely strengthening. It gives a sense of security, and it gives a kind of a sense of empowerment that you know that despite what the circumstances are, typically, that someone is going to have your back in all your endeavors, and that is something that you cannot undervalue. It's incredibly valuable. Continuing, we are going to further define connection. And that picture, a lot of people think it's from a movie, but it's actually just me and my homeboy. I don't know how they got that picture, but that's exactly what my arms look like. This is individual to individual, as I mentioned earlier, like one link, one chain, one bond, and it is a deep bond. I want you to take a moment and reflect and think of one person that you have a deep connection with. Hopefully, God willing, you can think of one person. And the way that I wanted you to get this idea, just get to this individual, is I want you to think of the person that you would go the farthest to see happy. Like maybe it's something small, like giving them a text at the end of the day. It's like, hey man, how are you doing? Maybe it's something big, like a surprise birthday party, you know? Just how willing are you to go out of your way just to make sure that they are doing well and that they are happy. And now we have two verses here before I go to my next point that I want you to think over in regards to this individual and this hero. And now this verse, Proverbs 18:24, I think is an excellent example of the connection versus community idea I'm trying to get you here. That these are two separate things. And it says, a man of many companions may come close to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And it furthers on the point that I made earlier, is that when you are on a certain path, there's this goal you're seeking out. You may not have a deep connection with someone from your community that will kind of pull you aside and say, hey man, you still got some fight in you. And they know, because they have a deep connection with you, and they know you can do better, and they know you can you can go further than you did, and they know that at least they see you as a person who will and does great things. And when you have people around you who truly believe that you are a great person and going to do great things, it makes you feel this responsibility to prove them right, and this responsibility to make them, to reaffirm their beliefs in you, that you can do great things, and you get back up. And that deep connection is associated many times in the Bible as being familial, and a friend who sticks closer than a brother, a bond that grows closer than blood. Moving on to another verse in Proverbs about deep connections. It says, this one is like the like brother brotherhood verse, and this video would be missing a vital part with with its absence. Many people would say this is the verse that they think of when I'm talking about connection and community, and it is Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. This is a kind of straight pointed metaphor here that in order to strengthen iron, to sharpen it, you need something just as strong uh, to change it. And I think that's the part of this verse I want to focus on, is that you need something just as strong as you to change yourself. You cannot make an iron sword with a rock. And when you have someone who has just as much passion and just as much drive as you, and has this deep familial connection with you, and who desires greatly for you to be happy and to you to accomplish what you seek out to, you will be sharpened. And so I want you to think. You already have that individual that you're thinking of, that you have a deep connection with. I want you to ask yourself, do you sharpen them? Do you push them to go on to do great things? Do you believe that they can? And are you willing to go out of your way to make sure they're doing all right, to make sure that they're happy, to make sure that they are being the best person they can be, being the person, the great person that you view them as? And then, kind of on the flip side here, another question is, are you the person they see in you? And this, I kind of already discussed this when I said that being viewed as a great person that does great things fills you with a sense of responsibility to fulfill that expectation of yourself. And then this verse, wasn't sure where exactly to put it in here, but I think the further definition of connection is a great one, and it's John 15:13. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. And this is the deepest form of connection. This is the kind of powerful connection that I believe that Jesus has with you, and that he would not, and he did not hesitate to lay down his life for the benefit of you. And I'm not expecting every single person to have a deep connection like this, but I want you to think like who is there, who is getting there, you know? Um, the person that you, as I mentioned before, you would go the farthest for. Maybe not lay down one's life far, but think further on that. The person you would go the farthest to see happy. Furthering in on community, there's two important concepts that I want you to get here. The first point is your community should reflect your personal values. And this is Acts 2:44 here. All of the believers were together and had everything in common. Let's say you have a friend and they are unabashedly in sin. Now, to if someone were to say that, oh, you two are just like each other, you guys have everything in common, I think you would have to take a step back and say, well, not everything. Well, don't be rash. Um, and I want you to recognize the people around you and how you would feel if people said that you were just like everyone else in your widespread community. Because ideally, this should give you a sense of pride. You should be like, yes, I am. It is wonderful to be compared to these people around me, because I'm surrounded by the people that I want to be like. And that is the core concept here, is that you are surrounded by the people that you want to be like, and that you are unashamed to have everything in common with these people. In fact, you would love that. That would be a benefit to you. That is what you want. Now, furthering on our definition earlier, is that it has a common space and a common goal. For a football team, like this little stock picture here, I like this picture because they all seem very joyful. They are all very joyful. And these people have a very clear common goal, is that to get better at football and to win their games. And they will commonly all gather together on the football field to practice, maybe in the weight rooms to train. So they'll see each other often during these practices and when they're working out together, and they will develop a very close, tight knit community. And then another example is a band. They all meet in maybe someone's garage to a practice, and they all have the common goal of improving at their craft, which is a beautiful goal to have. Is to keep to something and to not give up and to not be wavering when things are, having a jump in difficulty. Because as someone who plays a musical instrument, I realize that there are kind of like multiple like big steps up in difficulty that you have to slowly climb over. But once you have this new technique, then things are easy, and then, oh, what is this piece of music on about? And it's a process that is going to have some ups and downs, where you feel like you are great and you feel like you are terrible. And when you have a strong knit community with a common goal, like other musicians around you, then this process won't be nearly as harsh on you. The second critical thing about a community is that you should feel respected and accepted in this space. So really quick, let's go over Galatians 3 verses 9 through 28. 9 and 28. I did like a break there. So then, those who are of faith are blessed along with Abraham, the man of faith. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male nor female, for you are all one in Jesus Christ. And this ties into the idea that you are called to respect, to love thy neighbor as you love yourself. We are all made one in the title of the children of God. And because of this, you should respect and accept those in around you, because no matter how different you may be, maybe they have a completely different political belief, maybe they're a boy and you're a girl, or maybe they hate the sports team that you love. No matter how different you think they are not as different. Things there. Go! Eyeballs! Ah! Did I get you? Hopefully. Hopefully I cut out the times where I accidentally showed it earlier. And this was like, ah, ooh. You get scared? Let's see. Watch out! Isolation leads to reliance on other sources of short term happiness or senses of togetherness. Um, and this sense of isolation is what happens when you maybe have a community but no deep connections, or maybe you don't have any deep connections and you're lacking in some department here. And you feel this sense that you are not seen. Um, I want you to think back, reflect here with me of a period in your life where you felt this way. I mean, hopefully you haven't felt isolated before, but the likelihood is that you have. Let's be for honest here. You can be honest. You can be honest. Think of periods in your life where you felt isolated. Is that the person that you identify with? Is that who you are? Are you okay with presenting that to someone and saying, "This is me. This is the core of my being"? Probably not. I have a direct comparison is that I felt isolated during the COVID-19 pandemic. Everyone was locked away in their own homes, and I think I was a little brat. I don't think that's the person I am now, and I don't want to go out and say, "Hey, this when I sucked the most, this is me." It didn't feel like me then, which sowed this discontentment in me, which only furthered my isolation from others. It is not good for the man to be alone. Genesis 2:18. And in Genesis, in this context here, it's referring to how God made other people. Started with just my boy Adam, but he needed community. And that is a beautiful comparison about how you need community and connection. Now, I don't want you to get misconstrued and think you can only be happy if you have a deep romantic connection. If I'm Adam, then the only way for me to be happy is to find my Eve. No, quit that. You're dumb. You need connection, but you don't need a wife. I'm sorry. You probably want a wife, and I hope that you find a beautiful wife or husband that will make you happy, but you don't need to be banking on it. You don't need to rely on it. Like we said, it leads to reliance on other sources. Um, and specifically, what I'm talking about then is like scrolling on Instagram for hours. That is short term happiness. And it might give you a feeling when you see your friends' pictures or you see people hanging out. You might get a sense of togetherness and connection when really you don't have one and you are reliant on your device to feel connected to others. And you need to go outside and touch grass and talk to people. Sorry. The wrong type of company can also be harmful. Watch out for this too. Did I like pull your attention back? How would you feel if someone said you were just like your friend? Now I mentioned this earlier in community, but if you feel like you have different ideals or morals to the people around you, this is a good way to test it. If someone were to say to you that you are just like someone else, would you be like, "Yay, this is awesome. I love my buddy. I want to be like him, and I think he's a great guy"? Or would you be like, "Him? Nah, that's not me." And there's this proverb here that kind of bounces off this idea that I'm talking about. It's Proverbs 13, verse 20. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. So it's like what I said in community. You will be like what you are surrounded with. And so if you're surrounded by people who are striving and passionate, you will feel compelled to grab a hold of your passion you might have once lost and to continue to pursue a goal that you once thought not possible. And if you walk with people who thirst for God's word, you yourself will remember how dehydrated you are. And if you walk with people who step in the spirit and love God, you will remember what it's like to step in the spirit, and you will have rekindled the flame in you that loves God deeply. What do I think about? If that's you, lock in for like 3 minutes. Do I have genuine connection in my life? The question I asked to bring this out is, who in your life are you willing to do the most for? Like, if they dropped their papers on the ground in the hallway like a trashy high school romance, would you get down there and pick up their papers? Would you do other things for them? Like, are you willing to be there for them when things are great and when things are bad? Now, does my community reflect my personal ideals? How would you feel if everyone around you was has a different morality system than you are? Maybe they disregard things that you hold dear. Um, how would you feel if someone said, "Oh, you remind me so much of blank," and you'd be like, "Him? No." Hopefully not. Now, circling back to connections, are the people around you sharpening you? Your deep connections, do they encourage you, and do they make you feel like you are seen as a great person, and you have this desire to prove them right? And inversely, do you sharpen others? I truly hope that you can find a space where you are surrounded by people that you love and respect, and that you have this view of them and you encourage them to go on and that fulfill that ideal that you see in them. Now, let's round things off. We're starting to round things off, but let's go to Hebrews 10, 24, and 25. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. Good buddies should make you feel love, and they should make you want to do good works. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, don't disregard your own needs, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. And I take this as you see the day approaching, just meaning like throughout time. Is that, are you exhorting one another, lifting each other up, praising one when they do great? It's like, good job, dude. That saxophone solo, you nailed it. You are the man. And being with them when they don't feel like the man. And your presence being a constant throughout the days is something that a person can look forward to and rely on. And in that way, you are sharpening others. What should I do? This is the part of the video where I call you out. This is like, here's what I need out of you. I want you to think these things. How can I strengthen my community and my connections? Because you are an important part of your connections and your community. So if you make action, things are going to change. And I have two different things. First, for connection, I want you to reach out and spend time with a deep friend you haven't heard from in a while. This can be something simple, like just text them or call them and say, "Hey man, what's up? What's going on?" And if you that might turn into a very long conversation, and that can be like a breath of fresh air for this person who maybe they don't feel like they are seen and thought of. Just simple proof that this individual is on your mind can make a huge difference. And next, if you're in a new community, introduce yourself to someone. You are not going to find and establish deep connections unless you start talking to people. And you're not going to feel comfortable in a community if you don't know anyone around you. You got to say, "Hey, my name is," I don't know your name, unless your name is Brian. And differently, yeah, sure. If you're already an established community and you feel like you're in the in group, make sure that no one is in the out group. Maybe there's a new person in your youth group today. Say, "Hey man, my name is Brian. What's your name, dude? What are you up to?" And just make an attempt to see someone that you don't normally see. And this is the end. Hopefully, now that you're gonna make these changes, this is gonna be you. This is this picture. It's gonna be friendship and joy and love all around. But I want to leave you with these ideas. Same thing I said at the beginning of this video is that we are not designed to be alone, and we will naturally seek both community and connection. So make sure that you have good connections and a strong, healthy community. It's when we have both of these things that we become our best selves, and we help others become their best selves. And that is what I want for you. Our journeys with God are like a long walk. I like hiking, so I think of it like a long hike. And sometimes it's steep and it feels like I'm exhausted and I can't take another step. And sometimes you you see something beautiful and it reminds you that I am hiking for a reason. And I've gone hiking alone, and I've gone hiking with a close friend. And this is just a personal anecdote at this point. It feels less tiring to walk up the steepest parts of the cliff if you have a brother to complain about it with, just to talk to. And God is our true home, and we are slowly walking to Him in this world. And this journey is less tiring if you have a brother to talk to on the way home. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. Proverbs 17:17. And this furthers the idea of the steep, rocky terrain is that will be strengthen you and strengthen your connection, and you will still have love even when things are rough.